Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. Sitting inside the 2015 Honda. It's the Civic. Don't know what engine's in it. It's big, and we have a note here from the customer. Oh, upside down. And he writes, "Dear Eric, welcome back from vacation, and thanks for taking this one. I bought this car for my daughter on a gamble that I could make it right. The previous owner threw parts at it without true diagnosis, and I think they were Amazon parts. There is a rainbow of idiot lights on, and I would like to start with the lack of power steering. I believe the traction control light and ABS light are tied to this issue. I would also like to know if fixing the backup camera is possible. Love always, Scott." So here we are. We've got his car. I did a full system scan on it, and we don't have a lot of modules lit up. The dash is lit up though. Every light is on except the engine light. So that's the easiest. I'm talking ABS, TPMS, everything. Traction, the steering light. There is no power steering. It's electric steering, and none of that works. And of course, it sounds like he bought it used, so we don't have any history on it. Now, down here on the floor, there is a used ABS module, which I think he left a PS. Original ABS control on floor of passenger seat. So I don't know if he installed that or if the previous owner installed it. But I went to, after, because these things take forever to scan, so I skipped you guys out of that, but only 2 codes in it. 2 in the ABS, or 2 in the body module, and 2 of them in the engine controller. Both the same code though, a used 0122 and a U something else, a 0131. So this is indicating some sort of communication issue. Gauge control module loss communication with VSA. And gauge control module lost communication with EPS. So that's our vehicle stability and our electronic power steering. I'm assuming everything's all tied together. We fix one thing, we're gonna, ta-da, fix it all. And I think it's probably a safe bet to say it's likely not the ABS module. I don't know that for a fact, because I don't know if this was the original problem. I would think if the used one that they installed was, not the correct VIN, so on and so forth, we would still be able to communicate with it. And when I look back on the topology here, we can see electronic power steering is lit up gray. That's not communicating. ABS is not communicating. So buttons on my underwear. We need to start somewhere. Not super familiar with Hondas and their network layouts, how they do things. So the first thing we need to do is, well, I guess look at this. I don't know if this is a launch scan tool. I don't know if their topology here where they lay it out is correct. I would assume it is. Again, I could be wrong though. It's interesting that if it is correct, there are a couple modules that are already on that data network that are talking. So I would have to assume that that data network is not completely, pulled to ground or, shorted out, something like that. But again, we're making a lot of assumptions just looking at how they have it laid out here. So I'm going to do a little digging first. We're going to look at a wire diagram, see what that looks like, and then see if ABS, power steering, anything in common. Powers and grounds obviously would make a module not communicate. I would be surprised if they had any of those in common. And then if they don't, then we'll devise some kind of plan. I don't know. We'll figure something out. So I started doing a little looking to see what's tied together, and I think at least at this point, what I'd like to do is just, start with the easiest module to get to that's not communicating and see what we're missing there, if anything. It really kind of stinks we don't have a history on this car to find out, what, did everything quit at once, or, did it come in? Because I do see some new parts which don't pertain to, this problem. So it would be kind of a little bit nice to know, but I don't know, customers lie 98% of the time anyway, so it's neither here nor there, I guess. So let's do powers grounds communication at the ABS module. I'll get it unplugged, see if we can't get the cover back off from it, and see what we see there. And then, like I say, we'll go powers, grounds, comms, and keep on keeping on. That unplugged fairly easy. 1 and number pins 1 and 2 are grounds. That's the back probing side. 3 and 4 powers. They're big current circuits. So these are right across from each other. It's 4 amps there, 4 amps there. So we got good powers, good grounds. Ignition voltage number 8. Okay. Let me grab a smaller test light. I'm not sure. I'll have to look on a wiring diagram. I remember seeing those pins 3 and 4 on the wiring diagram. Actually, we can just look right here because we're concerned about pin 8, the ignition voltage. So we'll just pop back into a wiring diagram here. I just want to see what kind of fuse runs at to make sure before we go smoking that thing with a high amp test light here. Anti-lock. Pin number 8. That is not the correct diagram there. Pin number 8, gray wire goes up to a 7.5 amp fuse. Okay. So we're good with our test light. Always kind of, you should always verify what you're dealing with there, before you go just shoving something in there. We're gonna go component test ABS module. Get back here. Okay, so pin 8, that's all the way down there. That lone soldier there in the middle. Grab my glasses so we can see. Pin number 8. That's that little guy right there. Should be able to still touch it with that. The key is in the cut on position. May not be probed in all the way. Yeah, let me get the appropriate probe. I may not be touching it, and I don't want to go shoving that in there because it is pretty tiny. And I don't know if I have anything tiny enough. Is that the? Trying to see which ones are the pins here. Yeah. Yeah, that should be it there, I think. And then. We know our grounds are good up here. It's kind of not the right way to do this, but it's the way it'll work. Oh, that's interesting. Let me make sure the key is on. I'm pretty sure I left the key on. The headlights are on, right? Yes, the key is in the cut on position. Pin number 8. It's all the way at the bottom. That has to be the correct pin. And we're not getting any light here. Interesting. I do get a little dinging in there. Let's do this then. All right. I may not be probed in correctly, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's pop back over to wiring diagram here and see which fuse that was again. That was this gray wire, wasn't it? Yeah, this gray wire here. Fuse number 24, 7.5 amp, under dash. What else does that feed? That feeds something else here. Feeds the steering angle sensor. I don't know if that has anything to do with what we need to. That has computer data lines going to it. So perhaps, it'd be silly if this was a blown fuse, wouldn't it? Fuse 24, 7.5 amp, under left end of dash. Let's go have a gander. Alright, let's see. Of course, I put the car up on a lift. Makes this a little more difficult. I'm going to hook the test light right here on the door jamb, on the door latch. It's usually my favorite place to go. Take these off, put these on. And we said number 24. Oh, there's a little legend over here. Number 24, 7.5 amp ignition ABS VSA. there's no fuse in the hole. Number 24 is gone. It's one of them little low profile fuses. So maybe it's gone because somebody's been fiddling or something. Or maybe a fuse got pulled and put in the wrong hole. I don't know, but I know it's gone. Let me go find a fuse. I didn't feel like going upstairs and getting the right fuse, so I just got a regular 7.5 amp mini here, which will be fine for our purposes because it should still go in. Okay, there we go. That's in, baby. And that fuse is actually good. I just want to have my toolbox. And it didn't blow right away. Let's go back out. We'll just leave the test light in here just in case. Let's go back out under the hood and see what we see. Interesting. Am I not doing this right? I might not be doing this right as far as checking that pin. Let me see. Yeah, I think you're doing it wrong. Feels right. Okay, that's kind of curious. I'm gonna plug that back in real quick, just out of curiosity, in case my probe's not going in there correctly. It's a connector I'm not super familiar with. We're gonna go ABS. Just try to talk to the ABS module now. I'll let it go through. If it kicks up, oh look at that, it's communicating now. So my test was good, but it was bad. Okay, so now we can talk with the ABS module. So let's do this. That has me concerned. I must have been probing the wrong hole. Huh, what do you know? Let's trying to get familiar with this scan tool. I'm gonna go through here. I'm gonna let it do a full system scan now and see if other modules have come back online. Yeah, see now we've got the AT lights up, ABS lights up. Of course, ABS is going to have, if it's not the correct module that's in there, that's going to have its own problems now. Yeah, electronic power steering just lit up, so we're getting some more modules to light up. Why is the fuse gone? Did the fuse, you know, these are questions that I would have for the customer. I'm going to let this do its thing. It's going to be real stupid if this is just a fuse that's missing, because then what? Then what do we do? And then if this module has the wrong VIN number in it, has its own set of issues, I don't know about that either. I'm a little apprehensive to think that somebody actually changed it. It just doesn't look like your typical, you know, customer shenanigans. Usually, if somebody's touched something, you know, all the nuts would be all rounded off here. It has a fair amount of, you know, dust and stuff built up on it. The bolts that hold it on do appear to have had a socket on them at some point, but not recently. I mean, there's a lot of dust and stuff down here on the frame. I don't know. I ain't buying it yet. You know, usually, like I say, if a customer does their own work, you know, connectors busted, all the nuts are rounded off. Like, it's usually a mess if it comes from another shop or from a customer. Well, who knows? Maybe they had a little bit of finesse and did a nice job. We'll find out here. We should be able to read the VIN out of it if it's a module that stores a VIN. I'll let this finish. Stand by. It finished. I tell you what, because we know are missing a fuse and things were kind of crazy. Let's just go like this. I'm just going to clear the codes out of it. And then we're going to see what's generated after that. That's probably going to be our best bet. So this is interesting. missing. All the codes cleared, everything lit up green. You gotta be kidding me. Let's just see something here. Let's take it, shut it off. Oh, I got it neutral. Okay, we got a money light now, which we didn't have before. But we have one now. Can't tell if the power steering's working. I think it is. The wheels are off the ground, Teresa, I can't tell. We got check VSA, check emission system, check hill start. Okay. And that could all be results of if somebody really indeed did change that, if that's the OG, which we would have to put that back on. So let's do this. Check power steering system. Okay, so we have a bunch of lights back on now. And we know we had cleared them out, so let's go run a full system scan again. I was doing this thing, it's kind of funny, my test was bad, but my test was good, so sometimes you get lucky. In the sense I just didn't have the right probe. It's hard to tell on that connector which one was the female half for the actual metal pin. I didn't want to go forcing it in there, but like I say, we just happened to think that it had no power, and indeed it actually did, so I'll take it. Looks like we have 7 codes in the engine controller, 1 in the ABS, 1 in the power steering. Let this thing finish. So I'm gonna be honest with you, I think when we did the all system code clear and it showed up green, I don't think it really cleared the codes because the codes it had stored in it, those 7 codes were the same codes that we started with this, the FCAN malfunction and lost com ABS and all that stuff. And I know Hondas generally are pretty fussy about clearing codes. You have to, like, it's very similar to Subarus, you got to clear code, shut the key off. And sometimes, and I've had this problem with Autel before too, where you do the full system scan and clear all codes from this menu, it doesn't often work even though it says it does. So what I just did is I just jumped into the engine controller, entered in there, cleared the codes there, had to shut the key off, wait, turn the key back on. So some typical Honda stuff. So I'm thinking, after we put the fuse in, we never really, cleared the codes. Because now that I've done it, in the engine control module, we have no codes. So let's go back in there and start it up now. We'll do it live. And I think we're in good shape for the shape we're in. Let's, I'm gonna shut the key off. I'm gonna open the door here. Oop, hang on. Suck it in. Wait, here we go. I'm gonna get the key cut on. You gotta be kidding me, fella. Of course, the only thing we have up there is door off. You can't see it over this shenanigans here. Let's see. Let me get in here. Wow, you gotta be kidding me, dude. Blown fuse, huh? Really, dude? Let's see, did that fix our backup camera for some stupid reason? No, okay. So we still didn't have a backup camera. But this is ridiculous. Because what we need to know is why is that fuse missing? I have no idea. So I don't know, what do you do? Having bought the car used, we have no idea. Why did they pull the fuse? Did the fuse keep blowing? Is that why they started shotgunning parts at it? I don't know. Did they, we've seen this before. We've had cars come in where, fuses have been pulled because they're checking them. That's what you do. You pull fuses, you check them, and then they go back in the wrong slot. So I might set this car down, back it up. I'm going to take a minute. Of course, I have to get the correct fuse to stick in there. But I'm going to look at the legend there and just see, did this 7.5 amp get, stuck in an empty slot and, just get moved around. But, again, without knowing anything, we're going to have to take this thing for a rip. Other than that, it's probably the dumbest video I've ever made. One of the dumbest. Not the dumb. It's got to be close. I'm going to put it neutral so we can set her down and back it up. I put the right fuse in there, correct profile. When I say that we put the wrong fuse in it, folks, don't be concerned that I put the wrong fuse current-wise. We did use the 7.5 amp. It's just the wrong profile is all. When I look down there, lots of empty slots. I don't know. We'd spend half a day trying to figure out which ones are used and which ones are not, because they're not all applicable, if you know what I mean. All right, let me throw on my seatbelt so this thing doesn't ding the whole time. As far as the backup camera is concerned, 90% of those we fix with a visual inspection. Usually the camera's just all corroded, needs a new one. Doesn't seem to be shifting. Now we'll get her out on the big road here and see 251,377 on the clock. Oh, it's because we got her in S. Ding dong. Can't trust me, can you? Now we got her in D. Now she's shifting. We had it in sick mode, whatever S stands for. Here's the VIN number that's in the module that's in it. Here's the VIN number in the car. They match, and it doesn't look like anybody changed it. I think that was bought with a hope. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'll be real surprised they put one in and wrote the VIN number, did the software and all that stuff. So I pulled in down here because I wanted to make sure the ABS worked. She kicked on. Well, I have no idea. We're gonna leave it at that. We don't know what we don't know. Did a full system scan on the way back to the shop. Everything's lit up green. And we're just gonna leave it at that, folks. I mean, I'm not gonna spend all day just, you know, poking and hoping here. We'll just give it back to the customer and be like, drive it, see what happens. It sounds that he bought this car used. You know, I'm not gonna go through the whole story again. So, and with no further information, I'm not gonna chase anything down. I'll look at his camera, like say probably just a failed camera. If that's anything interesting, I'll turn the camera back on. Sorry for the lack of content and crappy content that we do have. It's just literally everything I bring in is this stupid, just nonsense stuff, you know. So just haven't really had anything good for you guys. And then the mechanical stuff has just been, you know, run-of-the-mill stuff. Do have a motor going in this Hyundai Elantra here. Got a kind of a special video with that. You guys see that. We do have another. I got a Kia's. Something or other out there. It needs an engine. I bought a brand new engine from Kia. Maybe I'll record that. But that's it, folks. It's just about checking the basics. I guess in this guy's defense, if he was doing something, or I guess we try to make a lesson out of this, if you are doing something, this is a good example. We haven't crossed this bridge in a while as to why I don't check the fuses. Everybody's like, oh, you got to check the fuses. Something happened with my car, check the fuses. All right, which isn't bad advice, but in this case, it may not be great advice. There's a lot of empty slots down there, and a lot of them don't pertain to this car. You know, sunroof, heated seats. You know, I started reading through them, like, I'm not going to go through all this crap, but the point of it is, if you go down there with a test light, because that's how we're going to check the fuses. We're going to, you know, cut the key on and just go bang, 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 right down the list. Just both sides of the fuse. All right, none of them are blown. But that's when it gets you, because this case, the fuse is missing. It wasn't blown, it was gone. We've done several videos like this where that's been the case. You know, the car comes in, it's not a case of the blown fuse, it's been, you know, removed and put in a different slot, or, you know, parasitic draws. We did a video on a Genesis, really comes to my mind that it had a fuse in a slot that the fuse didn't belong into. It's a circuit that ran nothing. Well, it ran something because it caused a draw. So this is why I follow data. and just data-driven diagnostics. That's it. Powers, grounds, communication. Even though our probe was not in there correctly, and gave us a false positive, which ended up being a positive. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to tell you. So that's it. That's the main reason I don't go in and just check fuses and just check relays, because it's nonsense. You'll catch one once in a while, but that's it. I don't know what else to say. I hate videos like this, but I don't hate you, especially when you go in that comment section. Insta, Facebook. You know where we're at, folks. Hopefully things get better here. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.